Ready? Okay. Well, welcome to our City of Jacksonville regularly scheduled city council meeting. Today is Tuesday, March the 12th, 2024 at 6 p.m. But we do have a quorum, so I will call us to order. Our first item of business will be our invocation. It will be given by the new pastor of People's Church, Austin Schmidt. And just a side note, he is my new pastor, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So if you'll stand, and Brother Austin, if you'll come and bless us. Thank you.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this evening, God. We thank you for your grace and mercy that you've lavished upon all of us. Lord, whether we know it or not, it's your grace that sees us through every single day. And so, Lord, we just ask that as we enter into this meeting time, you would give wisdom and direction and guidance. God, we thank you for the city of Jacksonville, God, and what you're doing in this place. Lord, I pray for each and every one of the leaders in this building, God, that you would impart your favor upon them, God, as they make decisions, Lord. I pray that the decisions that they make would be glorifying to you, Lord. And I pray, God, that you would protect this city, God, and that your name would be known in this place, God. We just thank you for what you're going to do tonight. Whatever it may be, Lord, may it be to benefit the community and the citizens of Jacksonville. And it's in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. If you'll join me in pledge of the American flag first. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. Our first item is a special presentation. Will be given by Shane Pace, our JEDCO president. So Shane, it's your turn.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening, everyone. This evening we are going to be giving our Business of the Month award to Rowe Farms, Plant Farms, and we have Matt Rowe here. So Matt, if you don't mind, if you'll join me up here, I'd love to just talk to you a little bit more about what Matt does.
The brain of the operation. There she is.
All right. Matt, and remind me your name? Julie, and their little son John, right? Yes. All right. So this is the first time we had a baby up here, so welcome to the. All right.
In a manner of
Matt,
speaking,
this is a
anyway.
family business. I believe Matt spoke at the Rotary Club. I'm a member of that. It's been a month or two ago, and it's pretty amazing when you hear this guy talk about what he does. He really, really loves Jacksonville. He really, really loves growing plants. And he loves taking care of the community. And so that's one of the things that really stuck out to me. Through kind of COVID and everything that happened, they just kind of stepped outside of their comfort zone and did some things, expanded their business, and they just continue to grow. And one of the cool things about them is they're in the city of Jacksonville, and most of the plant farms are out in the county or outside of Jacksonville, but they're really the only one that we have here. And so we want to thank you for staying in Jacksonville when you could have made some choices to do other things. And just thank you for continuing to support us and doing everything you guys do. So thanks, Matt.
I appreciate
Did you serve on the JEDCO board for a while?
I did.
Yes.
I had the privilege of doing that also. It's just been an honor to be a part of this community and to be here and to work with this community and to grow flowers. And it's a family business, but hopefully maybe this guy will take it one day. No, like I say, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be considered, and it's just we take this with full gratitude. We really appreciate this.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. You want to take some pictures? Yeah, you want to hold that?
Call him, maybe he'll look at you. Is his name John?
Yes.
John.
I think I've got his attention.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got no handsome.
Give him the hammer, baby.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Matt.
He says, that's hard now.
That's great.
Where are you located? Where are you located?
We're
Right
on
behind.
1618 Alberta Street. It's behind Gary's on the street.
Oh, awesome, thank you.
Our next item is a second reading of a resolution in support of an economic development project approving engineering work for downtown sidewalks and then discuss and consider with possible action that resolution. So Shane?
Thank you, sir. Let me grab those real quick. All right, so this is the second reading of Resolution 03-2024-01. As you can see on the screen here, the purpose of this item is to consider a resolution approving an amount not to exceed $365,000 for the engineering work for downtown sidewalks. As you recall, at the Thursday workshop, I did run through a pretty extensive list of kind of what we've done, what the board did coming to this conclusion of moving forward with this project. I've included on the slide here that the proposed project does include engineering design for an additional 4,400 linear feet of sidewalk. And so if you look at, when we get to the next slide, you see the exhibit, you'll see that we're basically extending the sidewalk project from where it terminated, right at, say, Austin Bank or the old Circle of 10 building, to the east, all the way to the Tomato Bowl. It would go south to down Ragsdale, and then there's a small section that would be included directly adjacent to Hazel Tilton Park on South Main Street. So as we go through this process, what we'll be receiving for that $365,000 is a full set of engineered, designed, and stamped plans for future construction. The construction will be in phases. As I say, I have a press release that'll go out this evening. Really the next steps for JEDCO would be, if this is approved this evening, we'll go through the process with the engineering firm to do the design work, get us a set of plans, and then we would really kind of step back and say, okay, what is this going to cost? How much can we allocate on an annual basis? What can we capture in grant funding or other support that can help us kind of move through this, and then start to break that up into phases of construction in the future. So this will easily push into FY 2025, but it's definitely something that we think is of value. We've seen a lot of great benefit in downtown from the sidewalk project, and we want to continue that for consistency, but also just to continue the momentum we've had downtown with these types of improvements. So with that, any questions from the council on this item? No? Okay. Ready to read that?
Yeah, read it.
Okay. Okay, so this is the second reading of a resolution in support of economic development projects approving engineering work for the downtown sidewalks, and that's the caption that I have this evening. Is that sufficient, Mr. Attorney? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Shane. So we've heard the second reading. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve approve and support the resolution to move forward with the JEDCO proposal.
We have a motion by Councilman Rob Goen. Second by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McRae. Any discussion we need to have? No? If no, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
And this gives us 3 to 5 years to theoretically to complete this.
Yes, sir, that's correct. We think, long term, we're probably at least looking at 5 years, given the
Right.
scope of it. And it really comes down to funding, what we have
Exactly.
available, what sort of partnerships we may have with the city, or any grant money that we may receive, but easily 5 years.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
perfect.
Thank you, Shane. Our next item is presentation of the 22-23 financial audit by Patillo, Brown and Hill. So we have a representative there. Thank you for coming again.
Yes, sir.
You bet.
I'm Cameron Aaron with Patillo Brown and Hill again I know got to meet with y'all, but for the citizens, I guess at least. Supervisor with Patillo Brown and Hill. We have Paula Lau, who's the partner over this audit, and we also have a senior auditor who did most of the legwork this year. Everyone worked well together with Roxana and her staff, and it went easily as always. I know that we asked a lot of questions and asked for a lot of things, and getting us the information we need is 90% of the job, honestly, and it always goes well. But you should have 3 reports, or 3 items that we're issuing tonight. We have financial statements, this is the biggest packet. We have a single audit report, which is the next one. And then we have a communication letter as well. And the opinion that we are giving over the financial statements is on page 1. It's not the first page of the report, but it's labeled page 1. And in the second paragraph of our opinion, we're saying, in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material respects. That is the cleanest opinion that we can provide over the financial statements. It's an unmodified opinion, which is what we want to see. Sure. The next opinion that we are providing is over the single audit report. And I think the second letter in that report, page 3, also has similar language, but we are opining on the statement of expenditures of federal awards. And so we had to do, when the city spent more than $750,000 in federal awards, we're required to select certain programs that need to be tested. And this year we tested ARPA funds, COVID money, the second round of COVID money that local governments got. And over that, I think it was page, should be the next page of the report that says how many dollars were spent. On page 6, there was $1.4 million of ARPA money spent for FY23. And there, you can see at the very bottom, the total federal awards was just over $2 million. So we tested over half of the federal awards. And that is similar. We've issued an unmodified opinion. Page 8 also has a breakdown, bird's eye view of our opinions that we're providing and which program we had to test. You can see at the top, there was no material weaknesses that we found, no control deficiencies, which is also what we are glad to report on tonight. If there were any deficiencies, I would have to tell you now. But there's also, I think the first letter, starting on page 1, of the smaller report, the single audit report. If there are any control deficiencies or material weaknesses, we would have listed them there, but there are none. Other than that, I think we covered financial performance mostly the other night, but if y'all had any other questions or things that you would like me to bring up as well, I'd be happy to do so.
Anyone have any questions for him? Okay. Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Our next item is to consider and possible action regarding the findings of the 22-23 financial audit.
I think you need to accept the findings on a motion.
Okay,
Roxanne, is that accurate? Okay.
yeah. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the findings of our 22-23 audit.
I'll make a motion to accept the findings of the 22-23 audit.
We have a motion by Councilman Tim McCray,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Letitia Horace. Any questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 8 is citizens' participation. Thank you. This is where we set aside some time to hear from our citizens. If you have something that you would like to discuss with us, not discuss, but bring to our attention, there is no dialogue. We're here to listen. Did we get any cards?
No, sir, I did not.
No cards. All right, well, then, we will go to the next item. Our next item is number 9, consent agenda. Items under the consent agenda require little or no deliberations by the council. We just approve those in bulk. Approval of the minutes, the election judge, canceling the District 2 municipal election, and then a tax refund. I'll entertain a motion to, on the consent agenda.
Mayor, make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion by Council Lady Woman Mindy Kellett.
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McRae. Any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 10 is any action out of executive session, and we do have one item.
Yes, we do, Mayor. I'm making a motion to approve an encroachment license agreement of approximately 800 square feet for Brawley's.
Okay. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second by Councilman Tim McRae. Any discussion on that? No. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 11 is to discuss and consider with possible action the requested street closure of the South Jackson Street by UT Tyler on March the 19th from 7 to 3 to do an elevator maintenance. Mr. James.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, as you'll see on the slide, I think a very non-impactful road closure. It's for the purpose of some elevator maintenance and crane staging for UT Health Hospital there. They're just closing a small section right in front of the hospital. Many of us would probably almost consider it part of their parking lot, but it is the extension of South Ragsdale there in front of the hospital campus.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for that street closure.
Mayor, make a motion that we accept or approve the street closure requested by UT Health.
Have a motion by Councilwoman Letitia Horace,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Mindy Gellett. Any discussion? I tell you, if you looked at your packet, I was really impressed with the pictures that they gave us. I mean, they spent a lot of money for a street closure. They really did. If no other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 12 is to discuss and consider with possible action allowing alcohol on public rights-of-way during the planned car show, April the 20th, 2024, along portions of Commerce Street and under the overpass. Mr. James.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, as you recall, we did have a representative, Jonathan Gary, here with us last month to present this or answer any questions council may have had. Subsequent to the approval of the road closure, he did reach out to City Clerk Greg Lowe, asking about alcohol and the ability to have it on the street there within the barricaded area for the event. And we're asking council to approve that tonight, subject to the hiring of 2 off-duty officers in compliance with TABC regulations. We have allowed alcohol at prior events downtown, to note a few, Tomato Fest and the Sesquicentennial event. Those events being kind of city hosted in nature had officers already on scene. This, however, they would need to hire officers as part of their pretty much all day long event from 8 to 5 p.m.
Okay. You've heard an explanation. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve and allow alcohol during the car show on April 20th.
Have a motion by Councilman Rob Goen,
Second.
second by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McRae. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 13 is to discuss and consider with possible action a requested variance to allow for a boathouse construction at 75 feet from shoreline and a depth of 5 feet located at 999 County Road 3908, City of Jacksonville.
I do see the applicant here this evening, so if the council has any questions, Mr. Tinker's on the front row. But per the lake rules and regulations, this requires council action. Mr. Tinker bought, I think it was lot 2 there, just south of the dam in the recent auction sale about 18 months ago. And you see in bold there, number 2, the Jacksonville City Council may by majority vote of a quorum present for a duly called or scheduled city council meeting determine that the proposed structure will not have an unreasonable or adverse impact upon the use and enjoyment of the adjoining lots and any approved improvements thereupon. Essentially, lake lot owners or lessees are entitled to building boathouses up to 50 feet from the shoreline. If the depth of the water at normal pool elevation, which is 422 feet, is not at 5 feet, they can, per your approval, go out to a maximum distance not to exceed 75 feet. Even if the water were at 4 feet at normal pool, at 75 feet is the maximum. I know we discussed in our workshop if letters got mailed out. Letters did not get mailed out as part of this. It's not triggered, and so really you want to just follow the same process every time. If it was an actual variance that went before the Lake Rules and Regs Board, Lake Advisory Board, and then came to council, that would kind of trigger the letters. There's really no primary structures east or west, and this lot sits just east or kind of south of the dam. I don't see, and nor does staff see, any reason that it would reduce the enjoyment of the adjacent lake lots. In fact, I would kind of expect that this to become common on this shoreline.
Right. Okay. We've heard that explanation. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve that particular variance.
Have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Tim McRae,
I'll second.
second by Councilman Rob Goen. Any discussion? Anybody want to ask Mr. Tinker anything? Appreciate you being here.
Thank you all very much.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Chris Kraft hates rocks.
Yeah. Exactly. At least the prop. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
Thank
you, sir. You bet. Item number 14 is to discuss and consider with possible action approving a sport league licensing agreement with the Jacksonville Baseball, Softball, and Soccer Association.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, it's two different sports license agreements with our Baseball and Softball Association as well as our Soccer Association. Both partake in the sports complex down Bird Road. You see the start dates being March 15th and then continuing on through their regular league play of this year, and the fees due per participant at $2. I will say that I expect these to be overhauled prior to your consideration in the upcoming year, just based on benchmarking how these are handled in surrounding communities and some of the fees, and then also the costs that go into providing and maintaining these facilities. Brett and I actually looked at one from a neighboring community this morning that was very much departed from what we're asking council to approve tonight, and I think we need to work in tandem with our sports associations. But I do want to compliment both of them. The Jacksonville Soccer Association has recently put in tens of thousands of dollars to improve their playing surfaces, subject to city approval, as well as the Baseball and Softball Association with the batting cages, and they do a tremendous job as volunteers supporting us in managing the leagues.
Great. So I'll entertain a motion on those two licensing agreements.
I'll make a motion that we approve the current sport league licensing agreements between the Baseball, Softball, and Soccer Associations.
We have a motion by Councilman Rob Goen,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Mindy Gallick. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 15 is to discuss and consider with possible action awarding a contract for the mowing of the cemeteries.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, staff advertised mowing of the cemeteries on February 24th and on March 2nd. The bid opening occurred last Friday, March 8th. It's for a contract term of March 1st. I know we're a little bit past that, so it'll be closer to about March 12th through October 31st. That's 23 cycles at each of the two city cemeteries. We received 4 proposals ranging from $92,000 to $144,000. When the committee reviewed them, subject to the point scale there you see at the bottom, they're recommending award to Breezy Day for $95,818.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion on the mowing contract.
Make a motion, we award the contractor for the mowing of the cemeteries.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Mindy Gallick,
I'll second.
second by
Can
Councilman
you clarify
Rob
to
Goen.
which contractor? Breezy
Oh.
Day?
Breezy Day.
Breezy Day.
Breezy Day.
Yes, LLC. Yes.
All right, let me clarify my motion. We award a contract to Breezy Day LLC for the mowing of the cemeteries.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilwoman Mindy Gallick and a second by Councilman Rob Goen. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 16 is to discuss and consider with possible action awarding a contract for the removal and replacement of unserviceable fire hydrants.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, as you're aware, the fire department works in tandem with our public works team and reviews the condition of fire hydrants throughout the city on an annual basis. We have north of 550 fire plugs throughout town. We identified a group and have already purchased the replacement hydrants a couple months ago. Staff is working to replace several throughout town, a couple dozen. And you can see from the picture there, it's a pretty involved process. The size of the pit, the depth of the mains all come into play. And so we did contract out some of the more complex ones, especially the ones that are going to be adjacent to hospitals and things of that nature, so we can try to minimize the negative impact. A lot of these do not have currently isolation valves, so we have to shut down a full segment of the main to replace the hydrant. As we go back, we're putting in isolation valves to make future maintenance of the plugs much easier and less intrusive for our customers. We did receive 4 proposals ranging from $47,000 to $73,000. The group that reviewed these bids is recommending award to Capco for just over $47,000. You see the location of the 17 plugs there with an anticipated completion date of May 30th of this year. We are funding this through ARPA funds, which are the one-time funds. We talked about them previously with our single audit. We had budgeted $400,000 for maintenance of fire hydrants along with replacement. We've already purchased replacement units and valves. And then so the $47,000 would be netted out of that available $219,000, and we'll look to do some further maintenance to other plugs throughout town after the replacement is completed.
Okay, thank
How many have we replaced so far? Or altogether will we?
We'll be replacing in the neighborhood about 36.
Okay.
And then we're servicing some other ones.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, James, this is to replace how many?
This is for 17.
Oh,
The hard ones.
Yeah.
Now, it's not for the hydrants themselves. We're providing the materials. This is the labor to
Okay.
make the installations.
okay, gotcha.
Yes. I think fire plugs are costing us about $3,500 a piece right now.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on the fire plug issue.
Mayor, I make a motion that we accept the contract for removal and replacement of unserviceable fire hydrants
We have
to
a-
Capco Construction.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a motion by Councilwoman Latitia Horace,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Mindy Gallup. Any, discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 17 is to discuss and consider with possible action authorizing staff to auction, sell the F-350 dually and the restroom trailer. Mr. James.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, these assets were purchased a number of years ago, both the F-350 dually and the restroom trailer you see there on the screen. They were both purchased with funding from our HOT fund, which is funded or receives funds, rather, taxes off hotel room night stays, so it had nothing to do with general fund or property taxes. But really, through the last couple of years of operating these assets, they're underutilized. There's private businesses in Jacksonville and in surrounding communities that provide these services. It's a very, very heavy trailer, especially when it's loaded with water. And some of the sites where it can't connect to water, we have to have that in the trailer as part of its operation, hence the dually truck. I think it's about our only dually truck in our fleet. You see there that we paid $33,626 for that dually. We have a guaranteed buyback price of $44,000. That's good for, I believe, about another 20 days. On the restroom trailer, I was actually able to get in touch with a dealer rep as well as the manufacturer this week. We paid $76,702, conservatively estimating a sales price of $60,000. Replacement cost, I had them quote out the exact model today, albeit it didn't have, of course, the decals on it, is $106,618 for replacement cost on that. I would hope that we can recoup our full cost or maybe even a little north of that potentially. We really tried to operate this to benefit things like Tomato Fest and other local events, but our cost to operate it when it comes to overtime and storing these assets, 362 days a year they're not being used, is just cumbersome for the city to manage. That's why staff's recommending the sale. And the proceeds would return to the Hot and Venue Fund, which operates the Jackson and gives back to some of the events that the restroom trailer was used at.
You've heard that explanation. I'll entertain a motion and we'll discuss.
Mayor, I would like to, since I am a bidder on the truck,
Okay.
I would like to show that I'm gonna abstain from this particular vote.
That'll be duly noted.
Or my company is a bidder, I'm not personally a bidder.
I'll still entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we authorize staff to auction and or sell the F-350 dually and the restroom trailer.
We have a motion by Councilman Rob Goen,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Latitia Horace. Any discussion? How many miles does the dually have on it? Probably not many.
2,000 miles.
2,000?
They use it a lot, that's how, it only pulls that restroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay,
And you only paid $33,000.
great.
We got
It was
screaming deals.
prior to COVID.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Open forum for mayor and council. Anybody have anything they want to talk about? I know Latitia does.
Well, why would you say that?
You always do, positive stuff, very positive stuff.
Well, yeah, and I don't want to
We
steal.
attended 2 events this weekend.
Yes, we sure did, we
What do
sure
you want
did.
to talk about?
And I don't want to steal any of James's thunder. I'm sure he's gonna announce them too. Are y'all giggling about me down there?
No.
No,
Oh,
no, no, no.
okay, okay. But I do want to just call attention, we attended the Fred Douglass Community Development Corporation fundraising banquet this weekend. They were raising funds for the Lincoln Park Trail, which we are super excited about. We had a groundbreaking on Saturday, which I'm sure James is gonna talk a lot about here in his report. But I wanted to just acknowledge that we have one of the Community Service Award recipients in the audience with us tonight, Miss Luann Williams. Miss Luann is a longtime resident of Jacksonville, yes. she has lived in the Lincoln Park area for 50 years. Is that right, Miss
Wow.
Luann? Raised her family there. Her kids were there at the event Saturday night. Got a chance to see her get acknowledged for all of her hard work. Miss Luann is one of those volunteers. When you talk about someone who will go out and go the extra mile, literally knocks on people's doors, calls folks, helps them in any way that they absolutely can. So someone who was more than deserving and probably long overdue for that award. So just wanted to call out her attendance tonight and just say our thanks to her too. So, that's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's
Anybody
it.
else? Nothing? Okay. Our next item is our city manager's report, Mr. James.
Sure, a couple of things to note for the community. We do have, I don't want to call it our first annual, I'm sure we've done it at some point in the city's storied past, but we will be offering for the first time in the recent number of years a free Easter egg hunt at Buckner Park. Kind of highlight the investment there with the TPWD completion of the playground. I feel like this will be a floating event, but we're going to host it at Buckner Park this year. It'll be 9 a.m. Saturday, March 30th. That's the Saturday immediately preceding Easter, and it'll be for kids 12 years of age and younger, and I think we're expecting to have like 7,000 eggs. So hoping to have a great turnout, but the Parks Director assures me it'll also be a very quick event because kids can pick up candy very quickly. So we'll probably be out of there and home by 10 a.m. that morning. So be on time.
If you wanna know what 2,000 eggs looks like,
Okay,
drop by.
that's two.
It's
Okay,
almost 2.
all right.
Well, and I'm just gonna add, with the way folks have been congregating in Buckner Park since we put in that new playground, I think you're gonna get every last one of those 7,000 eggs.
I think
picked
so.
up.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And also, we'll have the Great Jacksonville Cleanup Saturday, April 13th. There's kind of two components to that. There's the drop-off event where customers are able to bring bulky items, paper to shred, car batteries, electronics, motor oil, tires up to 5 per resident, or scrap metal. That's from 8 to 12. It centers at John Alexander's Gym, kind of on the east side of town, near like the rodeo grounds. And then there's also a litter cleanup event. We've been blessed to have some really awesome volunteers attend that. I think we've had upwards of 40 to 60 volunteers at that the last couple of years. Daniel does a good job of kind of sending them out throughout town and giving them routes and vests and trash pickers and everything. And you see the details there for that. It starts just a little bit later to let the volunteers sleep in. Very well trafficked event. We get literally tons, I think upwards of 12 to 15 tons of garbage. We fill off roll-off after roll-off after roll-off in tandem and in partnership with Republic Services. But I will want to remind everybody that you have to be a utility customer from the city of Jacksonville with an ID and a water bill at the gates, because it's just that popular. Will turn you away. Additionally, Lincoln Park Trail, I don't have a picture of the groundbreaking, but it took place just about right here in the park, kind of on the north side on Saturday. Work is well underway. We did commence kind of at the north side of the park, and we're working our way to the west. I believe they've formed up and tied steel all the way to the bridge now. Randall's are pour scheduled for tomorrow still potentially. Good deal. So it's looking really phenomenal. We do anticipate completion in April. And that's going to be an exciting day, really give an opportunity for folks to have something to do there while they watch their kids play and play basketball and do the other things that are currently in the park. Street reconstruction project is winding down. The real intensive components are complete. The parts that really interfered with motorists, but paving is complete on Bailey, Jefferson, Lake Park Lane, Harrison/Lincoln, and there in the curve and on Bethune. The contractor's going back and working on backdressing edges and then doing some hydro mulching where they disturbed soil. But we're really pleased with them. They worked quick, and I appreciate all of Randall's coordination with them, along with Chuck Sampson, who helped kind of design and spec the plans. Our boating access grant, this has been a long time coming. It was kind of a two-part grant. The planning grant completed roughly a year ago. It had its own challenges, and then getting us to the construction grant has presented its own as well. Nothing having to do with our consulting engineer or city staff, but just when you're getting $1 million of free money, so to speak, there are a lot of strings attached to that. Historical and archaeological studies and all these things that have to take place. So it's taken longer than we all wanted, but as we discussed at our Thursday workshop, we anticipate construction commencing late summer. We want to start it fairly late in summer to avoid impacting the boating season. However, we want to start it early enough to where we feel like we'll confidently be complete prior to Memorial Day 2025. You see there in the graphic rendering, the new concrete double ramped boat launch will retain and continue to use the current boat launch. However, I don't believe it'll have mooring areas in the launch anymore. It'll have its own dedicated mooring dock to make it just a little bit wider and more conducive to launching watercraft. We'll also have a really nice new restroom facility to serve users of the park and some more concrete. We're expecting it to be concrete boat and vehicle parking areas. So a huge enhancement, I think estimated at about $1.596 million currently. And then demolition orders. The Zoning Board of Adjustment met Tuesday, March 5th. They issued demolition orders on 16 structures that at that meeting. Actually, I believe 18 structures, but 16 were unconditioned. The other 2 have a little bit of an opportunity to pull some permits and do some work to try to take them out of their substandard status. And we do anticipate about 19 to actually be demolished because we have we have several individuals that have come forward to the city and done what's called a demolition consent letter, where we just group them in with our annual demo package. However, we don't take them through the ZBA because they're consenting to have it demolished. And surprisingly, I'll say, first of all, I want to compliment our ZBA. They're very compassionate, they listen very well, and they take their job seriously. I want to compliment Brett and Chris Silby for all the work that goes into that. It's an arduous process, and it's you got to definitely cross your T's and dot your I's. But surprisingly, we had representatives for maybe about 6 of the 18 properties that were considered on March 5th, and pretty much with the exception of 2 of the properties, everybody who was there wanted their property demolished. They just didn't know what the process was. They didn't know what a lien was and how that would play into the future sale of their properties. But that's something we're going to potentially market a little bit differently in the future, is the consent process and how that can help expedite and keep costs low. To get structures like that, that's one that was actually torn down in our last round, but that's the type of structures that are uninhabited that the city's looking to remedy. And I think that's it.
Very good. Okay. Well, that concludes our meeting, and we'll stand adjourned at 6:40. Thank you for coming.